And welcome to another edition of Chocobo Chasers. We have a very special episode today. We haven't done our usual topics in 2 weeks since last week was our interview with Craig Lee Thomas. Huge thanks to Craig because what an absolutely awesome, cool dude. One. And he's also provided content for our most viewed video on our YouTube channel. So thanks so much,
Craig.
man. Yeah, it was awesome. Also, I'd be remiss if we didn't take a second here to congratulate our Chocobro, Erik. Congratulates on your engagement. You
Thank
and
you.
Michelle.
Thank you.
It's awesome, man. We've been waiting, as obviously.
So is she.
As everybody has, I know. But congratulations, man. We're so happy for you.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming. Can't wait to see you be a married man. Well, all three of us will finally be able to say my wife and
my wife. We got to bring back another. We got to bring back another romance episode.
We will 100% doing it in leading up to your wedding. It's on the agenda. So we typically go ahead and we start off our episodes with a "What are you playing?" It's been a minute. I'll go ahead and I'll kick us off. I actually have not been playing a ton for the last 2 weeks. I did beat Nier Replicant completely, and I will say the Nier games, they're fantastic if you haven't played them. Nier Replicant has a much happier ending than Automata does. I am now playing Nier Automata as well because I just got that itch. I will say Automata is a much better game from a combat perspective, from just an overall story. I think I do like it a little bit more, even though it is more sad. And just, if you haven't played it, Yokotaro is amazing. Play the Nier games. They're great. So in addition to that, played a lot of Madden, and I'm also playing Metal Gear Solid 4 still. I'm a pretty decent way through. I did the Laughing Octopus fight. It was pretty awesome. It's also very cool. There's so much callback to Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 in this game. I just got to the point where they told me that Big Boss is technically still alive. Like he's like basically just a vegetable at this point. So I'm excited to see kind of where the story goes. But I'm really taking my time with it and just enjoying it. And I think really that's mostly it. I've been just playing mostly that. So Erik, I'll pass it over to you. I know you don't have a ton this week, but
it was a busy week. So it was Michelle's 30th before, so we celebrated that. I had a few of the friends in for a big crawfish boil for our annual one we do.
Oh,
so
hell
we
yeah.
had that. And then, man, it's just a busy week. I played 2 games of Valorant. That's it.
That is light.
One close, one big dub and one close loss. So other than that, man, it was just all over the place.
It was competitive.
Yeah,
that's all you could ask for. Well, Dash, what about you, man?
As amazing as it might be, for the past 2 weeks, I have only played 1 game.
Wow.
I don't believe that at all.
Nope, I am 100% serious. So all my time and effort has gone into Hades for the past 2 weeks.
1 or 2?
The first game.
Okay.
Because, when we last talked about Hades 2 weeks ago, I have not done a full run. I can proudly say in the time since, I've done numerous runs, even with heat level 8, I think was the highest I've done so far. But,
all right.
It's one of those games where you have to beat it multiple times to get the full completion. So I've gotten to the point where you get the main story completion achievement.
Okay.
But there's still the prologue that you have to do. So it's kind of just grinding it out, getting people's bond level increased. And I think once you do that, once you get all the Olympian gods bonds all the way up, I think you get the prologue at that point, but okay. I'm still working on it, so it's kind of just you have to grind the all the XP and stuff or the resources to be able to increase that.
Okay.
But I'm probably not going to do 100% unlock all this shit because there's just so much resource grinding for the stuff that you can do with the house contractor and stuff, so I'm not going to worry about cosmetic stuff or anything like that or maxing all my weapons. But when it comes to Steam achievements, I am sitting at about 5 more left to do. So I'm almost there. Oh wait, I said prologue. It's epilogue, duh. Um, but yeah, 5 more achievements to go, including the epilogue one, and maybe I might call it quits with the epilogue one. But
Okay.
it's like some of the conditions for some of these achievements. Like I haven't even gotten some of these prophecies that I need to do the unlocks for. So I don't know. I haven't really been looking online for some of this stuff. But I mean, this is just all me trying to get anticipation for Hades 2 because it's early access, so I'm not necessarily in a huge rush to be playing it day one and stuff like that. There's part of me starting to think maybe I should get back into Diablo 4. I haven't done it yet, but I'm hearing a lot of positive things about this new season and the loot optimization to the point where I might actually pick it back up. So maybe next week I'll have that on my list, but that's just a tease for things to come, possibly.
Oh yeah, I have also heard some very positive things. So very curious to see what Diablo 4 is. A season 4, I think, right now that they're on.
I did not even I played like season 2 for 2 weeks and I stopped, and then I didn't even touch season 3.
I haven't played since I played the first day of season 1 and turned it off. I think I even uninstalled it.
Yeah, I don't have it installed right now, so it'll have to be something that I have to add. But so obviously we have not talked gaming news in 2 weeks. There has been a lot that's been happening. We have got let's start off with a good one. College football is coming back. We've known it's been coming back, but we finally got an actual trailer and some actual information in relation to the game. July 19th, which was the rumor date. We talked about it previously on the show. It's coming. I am so excited. I bought the game physically because I will not let them take it away from me again. I know we're obviously all pretty excited for this. It's going to be a good time just getting to play this. And even if it's really just Madden reskinned, I'm not going to be upset at it. They are going to go ahead and try to do kind of an ultimate team for college football. You had to kind of know this was going to be coming as well, just based off of EA's track record.
I mean, if Dynasty mode is better than what they have for franchise mode in Madden, I'll be happy. And they got Road to Glory already slated for this too. So
right. And there's a road to the college football playoff, which is something that's new, which is cool. And really, I'm mostly just curious to see how NIL and that kind of stuff like affects recruiting and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So they're going to have some more information coming through, but honestly, mostly positives from my end. I don't really have anything negative to say about it. I'm just excited to play. Going to play as my alma mater, Utah State, which should be fun. So
I was wondering if I'll pull the Brock and wait for like first impressions first before buying it, but I don't know. I mean, it's not like I'm
tight too.
Yeah, it was awesome. Definitely
just buy it, Dash. You're not gonna regret it, bro.
Yeah,
just fucking buy it.
Obviously, we're going to have our whole on the Saints Block Party Dynasty League, so we might as well pick it up.
Do
it. What are you waiting for? Do it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what small divisions there are, but I could just pick up UCF since that's probably the closest major one to me.
Yeah. So, I mean, it allows for 32-team dynasty, which is really cool, which is obviously also the max in Madden. So I think from a server capability, they were probably just like, you know what, this is what we've got available. Let's not push the envelope here, which I get. And I don't think you're going to have a ton of people who are like pushing to have more than that. If they are, sorry, you're out of luck. So in addition to college football, we also found out Sony finally named their new CEO. And if you've paid attention to kind of just Sony over the last, 6-7 years, this really comes as no surprise that Helmut Holst is going to be one of the CEOs for PlayStation. They're actually going to implement 2. That part is pretty interesting because, one, we haven't seen another company, especially in the gaming space, do this. So it's going to be Herman Holst, I apologize, as well as, I'm probably butchering this, but Hideaki Nishino as its new CEOs. So Holst will go ahead and handle the studios business. Nishino will take charge of the platform side. So two people who have a lot of experience with both sides of the business, and I think that's awesome. Holst was already the head of PlayStation Studios leading into this, and he is also the co-founder of Guerrilla Games, who, if you didn't know, developed Horizon, Killzone, and then they were acquired way back in 2005. So if you've watched his rise, he is someone who loves games. And it's kind of a stark contrast from Jim Ryan, who was a businessman first and a gamer second. I think that Herman is not that way. And I think that's going to be good for PlayStation going forward. But interesting nonetheless, just to see that they are going to go ahead and have two CEOs, especially with our next topic. There's some tumultuous stuff going around maybe some of the other CEOs. Xbox has been in kind of deep shit lately. Understandably so, because you have this huge acquisition that goes through in the Activision Blizzard stuff, and there's been a lot of like background stuff that's come out since, which has made it kind of even worse about how, this huge company in Microsoft is acquiring all of these other companies and how it's supposed to make things better for the gaming space. That hasn't necessarily been the case, as we've seen Microsoft shutter multiple studios now, whether it be Arcane. Now it's Tango Gameworks, who developed Hi-Fi Rush, which was a Game of the Year contender for an indie game too, which is, asinine is really kind of the word that comes to mind. Phil Spencer he's the face of Xbox, so he's going to take the brunt of the heat. And honestly,
and the nukes in Fallout 76.
Yeah, people are blowing up his house in Fallout. It's okay. It's deserved. Let's say that, like, it is deserved, the backlash that he's getting right now, but it is also he's just a part of this. This is obviously an entire business decision, and that's tough, because like, what incentive is there for other companies to want to be acquired? There's been rumors going around for so long about how, is PlayStation or is Xbox going to purchase like CD Projekt Red? There's no reason at all that CDPR should ever want to be acquired at this point. They make great games, because say what you will about Cyberpunk, in its current state, it is a great game. Maybe it didn't launch that way. We're past that. The Witcher, fantastic game. Maybe one of the greatest games of all time. And they're going to continue working on those two franchises and maybe potentially something else. But there's no incentive for them to want to be purchased when you can get purchased and then get cannibalized by this, giant conglomerate, which is Sony, which is Microsoft, which is whoever.
Yeah.
It's just shit all around. It sucks.
They'll close you down, but they still have all the rights to all the IPs and licenses that they got when they bought you. So they still have the benefit of what they probably want. I've experienced that kind of like in the factory world, where it's just, we get bought out by a whole nother company. They don't want us for the factory. They want us for the parts that we make, so that they can take those presses and ship them to Mexico and make them for cheaper, and then close down the factory. So I've been in it. Stuff similar to that.
We've seen the whole Red Lobster claiming bankruptcy right now. There's just a
Chili's going away too.
Don't ever say that. Don't ever say that.
I'm almost certain Chili's is also going away.
He's like, I gotta look this up now.
I refuse to believe it. There's a bunch of places saying, like, is Chili's going to go ahead and close their locations? Apparently, Forbes says they're not shutting down all their locations. There has been some misinformation.
Okay.
That being said, I'm not going to be surprised if they end up shuttering some of their locations. One thing interesting, we're turning into a food pod here today.
I can do that. Big back hours. Let's go.
Chili's has closed fewer than 20 locations, which is actually very, I'd say, like, interesting, considering the climate that we've seen a lot of these restaurants go through. But the more you know. I was about to fight someone. I fucking love Chili's. So
I
uh,
haven't
It's
been to one
hard
in a
for
while, but those Chipotle chicken crispers don't even fucking talk to me.
so good.
it's hard for me to sympathize because my local one is not the best. So unfortunately, I haven't had
We just
the
got to
best.
get Dash
No,
to a on par Chili's is what we
yeah,
need.
I think that's what I need to like get my perspective and check.
Yeah. So ultimately, Xbox deciding to shut these studios down, it's really just a shame. I think
Then
that's
you
the
had like
easiest
the
way to
whole
say
thing
it.
with Matt Booty even telling the studios, it's like we need smaller studios to make these like indie games that'll give us prestige and rewards. He said
When
that like right after they canned Tango.
yeah, and so Arcane made Prey. There's
I'm not sure if it was that Arcane because
I
there's
think it was
different
just
branches.
Arcane Austin, correct?
Yeah, they
Arcane Austin, which I do believe made Prey, and then they also made Redfall.
Yeah, Redfall's what did them in.
And
and I
Redfall,
can understand maybe why that happened with Arcane Austin.
you can understand, but
Yeah.
also they
But Microsoft set them up for failure too.
yes,
Honestly,
and they're also not going to release promised DLC for Redfall, which is just kind of another shortcoming and just kind of spitting in the face of the fans. It just sucks all around. And then you get a lot of, the most important part of all this, you get a lot of talented people are losing their jobs. So it sucks all around, something we want to avoid going forward. And speaking of avoiding layoffs, we have had so many good things to say about Larian Studios and obviously the people who they have worked with in terms of actors. We've had the chance to interview them. Well, Larian is in the news again for good things. Larian is actually opening 2 new studios. Erik mentioned right before the show, one of which is in Poland. So it is interesting to maybe think, are they poaching some of that CDPR talent? Because we know CDPR is, from a development standpoint, is one of the best studios in gaming. From Cyberpunk, from The Witcher 3 to Thronebreaker, the kind of spin-off-y Witcher game, they're working on some really cool stuff, and now they're working on a new iteration in the Witcher franchise, so it's something to think about. But Larian is working on 2 games right now.
You gotta love how these like European studios are so transparent too. Like Remedy, Larian, CD Projekt Red, they'll be like open about what their plans are.
There's probably a connecting point here, is that they're not American-based studios, and so they don't have American-based working conditions. Crunch is a lot less of a thing, and and it's not to say that American companies are bad by any means, but I think that there's just a lot of oversight that happens for these other companies. You don't typically hear about Nintendo laying off people. Like Japan has extremely focused.
The CEO for Nintendo took pay cuts to avoid layoffs.
And then we get Bobby Kotick from Activision making $300 million. So
for what? Like, what does he do?
Say what you will. He makes them money. He makes himself money. So it's just, yeah. So awesome from Larian, not awesome from Xbox. And I'm sure that Xbox is probably going to do something to at least address a lot of this. They have their big showcase coming up in 2 weeks. Summer Game Fest is also in 2 weeks. Next week, we're going to be talking about, what we are hoping and kind of expecting to see. Between now and then, I'm fully expecting we'll probably get an announcement of the PlayStation Showcase as well. So we're going to be, next week is preview week, which is always fun. But there's a lot of goodwill that kind of needs to be earned from the Xbox side. A big part of that is, they've talked about shuttering these studios. They've talked about, I have been very vocally critical of Game Pass in the past because I just don't understand its sustainability.
No, we hear Call of Duty might be on it now.
So Call of Duty is potentially coming to Game Pass. And I think with that, we're also going to be getting a raise in price for Game Pass, which I don't think is the worst idea, but it also depends on how big of an increase are we talking here. We're talking $2 to $3? Are we talking like $5, $10, something? There's just, at some point, that sustainability is not viable. So again, I don't want to hammer on Xbox too much because Xbox isn't the only one doing shitty things across the gaming space. It is a combined effort from multiple parties. Let's just hope that we get positives out of this, and I hope that the folks at Tango end up creating a new studio making more awesome games. So
Twitter mob would come after us if we just hammered on Xbox.
no, the console wars are not a fucking thing. So, and I'm actually, in addition to Xbox, I was just preaching about the awesomeness of, Japanese and European companies not laying off people. Square Enix actually did do some layoffs after a financial call was not really awesome. They've talked about how apparently Final Fantasy VII Rebirth didn't sell up to their expectations. Part of me wonders what those expectations potentially were.
I'm pretty sure Final Fantasy 16 and Rebirth were like their two best-selling titles, at least.
Yeah, and that's what you'd expect, obviously. But
it could have sold more, obviously, if it wasn't a PlayStation exclusive.
Yes, and Square Enix, in response to that, has specifically said they're looking to go multi-platform for their titles going forward. And so I would fully expect Rebirth to make its way to Xbox here at some point. Same thing with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Same thing with Final Fantasy 16. There's no benefit for them if they're losing money in that case, and they might not be losing. They just might not necessarily be hitting the targets that they're looking at. But just something to pay attention to. Enough of the negative talk. Well, I guess we will have a little bit more negative here in a little bit. But let's take a break from that for a sec. We got our first look at Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is the next iteration in Assassin's Creed. Definitely a little bit... it's funny because we got this new Assassin's Creed last year, which was set in Iraq. It definitely had much more of a focus on getting the game to be more assassin-like after Assassin's Creed Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla.
Couldn't even tell you what the name of that one was.
I don't even
Mirage?
think it's called Valhalla.
Mirage, yeah.
Mirage is the newer one. That's right.
Yeah.
Forgot
all about that.
So yeah, no, that's but yeah, so I had forgotten the name of it, honestly, and I even played it, so boo on me. And I don't even think Valhalla is the name of that one, is it? It's
Valhalla is the Viking
it's
one.
the expansion that they have.
No, Valhalla is the actual Viking one.
Yeah, Ragnarok is the expansion.
Okay, yeah. I'm getting in my...
You're thinking of God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, I'm getting everything all mixed up right now. But
still need to play that.
Dash, I'm gonna murder you.
I bought it. It's sitting on my entertainment center.
I gotta play that DLC still. It was free.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah,
and
it was
incredible. No, it's incredible. So you guys both need to play it because it is so good. Especially if you've played for me, God of War and God of War Ragnarok is really of a part 1 and part 2 of the same game.
Yeah. No, they're fantastic.
Part 2 expands on the first so much. And Valhalla is really just service for everybody who's played the original games, because there's a lot of really cool tie-ins. There's even a new weapon. I'm not going to spoil anything. But there's some characters that show up from the original trilogy. Just a lot of really cool things. And it just gives you an excuse to jump back into Ragnarok, which is a great game. So, but anyway, Assassin's Creed Shadows. You get to play as 2 new protagonists. And there's been a little bit of controversy about is it Assassin's Creed they're diving too much into not real territory for the people who don't realize that
But Yasuke
is a real person.
And Yasuke was never really a source of debate until Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah.
He was a boss in Neo. He's a character in Samurai Warriors 5. The Japanese have always acknowledged him as a samurai, but now when Ubisoft tries to portray him as a samurai, he wasn't a samurai, he was a retainer or something like that.
But it's but he is an actual living, breathing person who was alive during the Sengoku period, was a retainer or whatever you want to refer to him as, under Oda Nobunaga, who is literally one of the most famous people in Japanese history. So it's just, the whole thing is dumb. The game itself, it was more of just a cinematic trailer. We don't know anything about any specifics of the game. I will say, like, I love that we're getting a ton of samurai games right now. I'm not going to be upset about it because obviously we've got Ghost of Tsushima finally coming to PC and it runs like
Yeah, apparently it runs
insane.
great. Yeah.
So, which
Only
is
bad
awesome.
reviews it's been getting is people complaining about the PSN requirement.
Yeah.
Which they were forward about before you purchase the game. So those people can kick rocks.
It's funny because they don't say anything about like all the countries that you can't get Xbox in or EA or anything like that.
No.
And there's like some of the top selling games in Steam require a third party login.
Yeah. If you purchase any EA game, like I'm pretty sure that you do have to have a login. If you play Madden, if you do anything like that,
GTA, you need a Rockstar account.
So it's just people being babies for the sake of being babies. So
I get it, PlayStation bad kind of stuff or something like that.
Well, and it console bad, I think, is like the big thing. But it's like, just, it's a lot of this stems from the Helldivers controversy, which that was totally understandable. They did not make that information transparent from the get. But then they also rectified it. Just, I don't know.
If they didn't need it at launch, they don't need it now.
Exactly. So, anyway, back to Assassin's Creed. It looks interesting.
Two different play styles.
Yeah, it's hard because it's like, is this an Assassin's Creed game? I'm gonna lean probably not. Like,
I think if with the protagonist that's getting overshadowed by the controversy, you have the female assassin ninja
who's gonna be a shinobi. Yeah,
not Oe. Maybe Oe probably. So
we're gonna have another pronunciation.
No way.
Coming.
Yes, no way.
Yeah. No way.
So,
but yeah, so she's gonna be your stealth character if you want to play like that's Assassin's Creed 1, and then Yasuke's going to be your samurai up front.
RPG, open world, like that Assassin's Creed has kind of been known for. I'm assuming those games sell really well. That's why they're just
already like top sellers on Amazon now.
Yeah, I'm assuming that they do sell really well, and that's why we've continued to see like them lean into this just different style of play.
Of course, it's Ubisoft, so we had the 4 different versions of the game that you can pre-order, and it even includes day 1 missions that are locked behind pre-order and the collect like gold edition or whatever. So I mean that's Ubisoft being Ubisoft. People are mad about it, but you expect it at this point with this company.
We saw the same thing for Star Wars Outlaws. Yep. So
I mean they've been doing it for how many years?
Yeah.
It just is what it is at this point. You take it or you leave it.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. But the game looks interesting. Love that we're getting just a big lean into samurai culture just over the last few years. Obviously, these games, Eric, I know you love Shogun. I'm like halfway through, and I've been meaning to finish it. But I love that we are getting a culture that I think deserves its spot in the limelight, and it is. I mean, we've Ghost of Tsushima, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Rise of the Ronin, and obviously Samurai Warriors and Dynasty Warriors has been a big part of that as well for a long time. But it's always good to be able to get more of that. So in addition to this, we've also got Kingdom Hearts is coming to Steam, which I know a lot of people who have wanted to try Kingdom Hearts and they haven't because it was on Epic, because everybody
How long was it on Epic for?
Epic.
It came out in Epic like March of 2021.
Yeah, we'll say for 3 years.
3 years. That's a pretty long exclusivity agreement. Way longer than I think most games
just say no to
do.
Epic Game Store, please.
Like usually it's been 6 months. That's why I was surprised. I'm like, wow.
It's hard because like Epic does bring we have some awesome stuff because of Epic. Like Alan Wake 2 is a thing. They work with Remedy a lot, and so I'd imagine that the Max Payne 1 and 2 remake is probably going to be an Epic exclusive. That's just my guess. That game is in full production as of now, so my guess is maybe looking at a 2025 release, maybe early 2026. But I feel like I'm a little bit more sympathetic to Epic. I don't use it a ton, but when I have, it hasn't been terrible.
No, I hate the exclusivity.
Yeah, no, and that is pretty shitty. But we are getting Kingdom Hearts on other platforms, which is incredible. Obviously, I think that part of this is Square's, their plan to have a broader release going forward, and just to try and make more money. I totally understand that, but I'm also excited that people get to experience Kingdom Hearts because I absolutely love Kingdom Hearts.
1 and 2 were so good. I haven't
Can't
played
get
3.
enough of it.
Yeah, I was in the camp that like, oh, just play 1, 2, 3. I ended up playing the other games as well, and I had a lot of fun. And it actually makes the story make a ton more sense after you do play those other ones. There's like,
I mean, you have to play like at least like you do Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, Birth by
Chain of
Sleep.
Memories and Birth
Chain
by
of Memories,
Sleep.
I think you can skip. I honestly felt like it's like you get enough of what happened in Chain of Memories in 2, and plus the whole concept of Chain of Memories is you lose your memory of what happened there in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you get that whole piecing together what happened in Kingdom Hearts 2. But
Yeah.
you just have to get past the card combat. That's it.
And actually, I kind of like the card combat. Is that?
See, I got a friend who's the mad lad that platinum Kingdom Hearts, all the Kingdom Hearts games on PS3, PS4, PS5. So he did it multiple times. And that includes Chain of Memories where you had to get every fucking card.
Yeah, your friend is insane.
Doesn't get out much, does he?
Big ass Kingdom Hearts dude. Shout out to him if he's listening.
Yeah.
Need to get some sun, buddy.
But I ultimately just excited for new people to be able to get to experience the game. Kingdom Hearts is awesome. Really excited for Kingdom Hearts 4, and maybe potentially something we're going to see at Summer Game Fest. I know
Square's not going to be at the Summer Game Fest though, so
maybe they'll drop their own trailer. We'll see. It's not something that's been unheard of during
let it be during
times.
like a PlayStation showcase in the future or something.
And maybe that's why, because there has been that relationship going forward. Obviously, Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 were PlayStation exclusives to start. And now with 1.5 and 2.5, they are available on other platforms. So another thing we wanted to go ahead and talk about. So Xbox has gone ahead and released Hellblade 2. We've seen some of the reviews coming out for it. Literally, I thought it was a little weird that the review embargo was to today, which is the release date of the game. The reviews are not as strong as I thought they were going to be. I thought for sure this game would be a critical darling. I thought that we were going to see high 80s, maybe low to mid 90s. As of right now, it is sitting at an 82 on Metacritic, which isn't a bad score. Let me
that's a good score.
It's a good score.
It's not going to win awards.
It could, but
one thing that the game has been absolutely just praised for every single person that I've really seen talk about it is the visuals. Mm-hmm. It looks like a next gen game.
Yeah.
It is an incredibly short game, so that is something.
Is it like 8 hours?
So I have heard 5 hours.
Imagine buying that.
We're talking about like. Some of the issues that people had with The Order 1886 is a game that comes to mind that was, people loved. Again, the visuals were great. The story also pretty good, but just a really short game.
I just wanted more. That's it.
That one was what, 10 hours?
It was. You definitely could do it in a day. I remember.
Yeah.
Well, I bought. I didn't buy it day one, or did I buy it? No, I did not buy it day one. I can't remember if I bought day one.
Who made that game? I can't remember.
Let me grab it.
I'm gonna look it up before Dash has a chance. It's Ready at Dawn in Santa Monica, actually.
Oh, shit.
A joint
Ready
effort
at
there.
Dawn. I've never heard of them.
Yeah, so Ready at Dawn is a...
More like Finish at Dawn, correct?
It's composed of former members of Naughty Dog and Blizzard, according to Wikipedia.
Oh, shit.
So
that's dope. Well, Blizzard makes sense with the visual, and Naughty Dog. That's two top tier visual company. I mean, Blizzard cinematics are next level, man.
Yeah, and so they've actually joined Oculus Studios as of 2020. So that's it's very interesting. I'm curious to know what they've been working on since. So, but yeah, so Hellblade released really kind of I think underwhelming reviews is probably just the better way to put it, because 82 generally favorable. That's a good rating, but I think people just expected it to be like that evolution, because the first Hellblade game, if you haven't played it, I would highly recommend it. Just make sure you're playing with headphones, because a lot of it deals with kind of mental illness and like the idea of hearing voices, and it does an incredibly uh, just I think accurate portrayal of what that experience is like, and it's something that you really don't get to see anywhere else.
I'm gonna install it and play it this weekend. If I have
I
a
do have it on
chance.
Steam. I've been sitting on it for such a long time.
I have it on PlayStation, and I have it downloaded, literally ready to play. As soon as I'm finished with Nier Automata, I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to play Hellblade 2 on Game Pass, because I'm not going to pay $70 for a game that's going to be done in one
I
day.
wonder if there's a reason why Microsoft just didn't want to advertise this game worth anything. Like,
Immortals of Avium's on Game Pass.
It is.
it's on the PlayStation Plus Premium library too.
And it was
Or-
also a PlayStation
Yeah, it
Plus,
was
just
The
essentials.
yeah, I think it was on the monthly ones too. Actually,
Yeah. So our guy Adam has actually been playing it, and he said it's actually a lot of fun. So might be something to go ahead and check out if you're we're in kind of a fun time right now where you can start clearing a little bit of the backlog out if you haven't been working on any of these new games. I know some people are finally our guy Professor Noctis has finally platinumed Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so shout out to him. And it's interesting to see that this. While these are good reviews, again, I don't want to shit on this game, but I think they're just a little lower than expected. I think the game is a lot shorter for a game that took 5 years to go ahead and create. And again, a lot of that is the visual aspect. There might not be a better looking game out right now.
I think they greenlight Hellblade 3 apparently too.
There's a rumor coming out that Phil Spencer has told Ninja Theory that they have greenlit Hellblade 3. And I wonder if part of that is we need to go ahead and expand on it, or what exactly. Again, these are rumors at this point, so we don't know exactly what that entails.
They got some optics for that they need to take care of.
They need to get a win. There needs to be some positives here. So
It's like we've been saying that for Xbox probably a year now.
Yeah, and Xbox has some great stuff in the pipeline
they
too,
do.
which sucks. Like Avowed looks awesome. The Indiana Jones game looks pretty good. And I'm sure we're going to get a lot of this in the showcase, and maybe even some other stuff. We even not those flagship titles. We were pretty hyped about some of the other stuff that Sunk Goes the Deep was one of the ones that we talked about. The game that Erik mentioned 2 or 3 episodes ago, the Bayou focused game.
Midnight and
Yeah.
South of Midnight was the game.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's coming from Compulsion Games, and so they have some good stuff in the work. And I'm not saying that they're not going to ever release anything good, because Hellblade is, rated wise, it is a good game. But I love the environment, and I love the atmosphere of the first Hellblade game. So if it's anything like that, I'm sure it's going to be a good time. I think that a lot of people just kind of hoped after a lot of it's kind of a basic game, the first one is, and I think people hoped for an expansion on that, and I just don't know if that's the case. And so maybe there's just people had high expectations. It's not necessarily reaching those heights. So talking about another game that we're hoping reaches the heights, there was some info coming out from I think this was an EA press conference. BioWare, which is one of our favorite studios of all time, it was announced that Dragon Age Dreadwolf is coming out during the next fiscal year. So basically from now until next April. there's a lot of rumors pointing it to being a 2024 release. And I could absolutely see it, hitting that fall, winter release timeline. We don't have a lot of games coming out during that timeline that we know about yet, because I'm sure there are going to be things that are going to fill that timeline. But honestly, give me a big, fun BioWare game to just lose like a month into.
Oh yeah, it's like I love Inquisition. It's a lot of people's least favorite, even though I don't like 2 at all. I like the characters in 2, but Inquisition is my second favorite out of the 3, and I just this has been kind of through development hell. They've changed heads of the games a couple times. They've rewritten it. It seems like, so it's just, and the thing is, like we said, Xbox needs a win. BioWare for sure needs a win.
And they're working on 2 of the most storied franchises in all of gaming in Dragon Age. Shout out Mike Laidlaw, and also Mass Effect. Shout out Keith Farley, Peter Jessup. We're in a time right now where game development just takes so long. And so I'm hoping Dreadwolf releases, and I'm hoping that it's an absolute win. I'm hoping it is a Game of the Year contender. Because when BioWare is good, it's good for gaming. It's good for the gamers. Obviously, this is a studio that's responsible for the masterpiece that is Knights of the Old Republic, that is the Mass Effect trilogy. Let's see him let's see him hit a home run here. So we'll obviously await more information next week. Like I said, we're going to have our preview episode for Summer Game Fest as well as Xbox Showcase. Really excited about it, but stay tuned because we're going to have some more information in here, and who knows, we might be doing another giveaway here pretty soon. So we've got the Steam Summer Sales coming up. Obviously, that's always a fun time, and you're gonna find some good stuff on sale. So I think that's it for me, guys. You got anything else you wanted to talk about?
No,
I'll give a shout out to some of these good indie games that have come out over the most recent weeks. If anybody's not caught them yet, there's the Crow County one, which is like a nice throwback to kind of like a classic Resident Evil survival horror style.
Hell yeah.
Been hearing a lot of positive things about that. There's Animal Well, which has like a very Metrovania puzzle-esque kind of thing, which that actually is published by the company that is like publishing company created by Video Game Donkey, who's like a YouTube game critic, kind of satirical one, but that's the first game they've published since he's started that company. And then finally we got Little Cat Big City, which kind of reminds me of Goose Game, honestly, where it just looks like you can just like screw with people, take their stuff, and you play as a cat, you find hats, and who doesn't love playing as cats? So
it's true.
Makes me want a Stray sequel.
Yeah, I was gonna say go play Stray.
Stray was so good.
I have it. I have not played it yet, but I have it. So
it's a very short experience. Like you'll be able to do it in a whole day, most likely. But it stuck with me. Like I won more by the end of it, and I hope for a sequel at least.
Hell yeah!
But that's it. Yeah.
All right. Well, again, we want to say congratulations to Erik on your engagement, man. We are so happy for
Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it. Always happy to be able to spend some time with the boys. And like I said, stay tuned. Summer Game Fest, Xbox Showcase, potentially a PlayStation Showcase, and also potentially a giveaway coming up. So we love you guys. Thanks so much for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Have a good one.
Yep. Later.